The killer flagship smartphone OnePlus 3 has finally arrived, and we didn't waste any more time as we put it side by side against the established and quite affordable flagship, the Huawei Nexus 6P. This is Jade from ManilaShaker.com, and here's our in-depth and more objective review and comparison. Starting with the design, the OnePlus 3 is a big departure from the non-metal OnePlus 2. It screams build quality with a unibody aluminum design. The OnePlus 3 really looks a stunner, and the back resembles HTC One series. Make no mistake, the OnePlus 3 has its distinctive traits, including slightly tapered edges and curved glass front. Both produce seamless and more fluid touch experience. The Nexus 6P on the other hand is an Android to beat when it comes to overall design and build quality. Offers unique design than the OnePlus 3 but is left with a flat screen. The wider screen of the Nexus 6P results to a slightly bulkier form, though it's still manageable with one-hand use. Both offer USB Type-C port at the bottom, while the OnePlus 3 has extra SIM card slot. The OnePlus 3 retained the positioning of the fingerprint sensor. It's now better than the previous generation and comparable to the scanner of the Nexus 6P, which is fast and accurate even with wet fingers. Now on handling, the OnePlus 3 feels more comfortable to hold due to the smaller footprint, but the advantage of the Nexus 6P is having more color variants, including the froze white we have. For OnePlus 3, you'll have to go for cases which add a few millimeter in thickness. The OnePlus 3 rocks a 5.5-inch 1080p AMOLED. It has a 2.5D curved Gorilla Glass 4 from the edge to edge and really gives a lasting seamless impression. Meanwhile, the Nexus 6P sports a 5.7-inch Quad HD AMOLED with the same Gorilla proofing. It's sharper and a bit saturated, but the difference is hardly noticeable at all unless you'll put them side by side. What's new with the OnePlus 3 is a 16-megapixel f2.0 main sensor. Stacking it to the 12-megapixel f2.0 sensor of the Nexus 6P means OnePlus 3 has more pixels. But sensor size wise, the Nexus 6P has larger sensor and pixel size. After some testing, we find out that the automatic HDR mode offers the best photos in terms of pleasing colors and detail preservation. We use a Canon 70D SLR for reference. The Nexus 6P shows more saturated photos, but with closer reproduction to 70D. OnePlus 3 has finer details in most daylight photos, but is beaten by the Nexus 6P in low light. The 6P maintains natural-looking photos and better detail handling. The same goes in the selfie shooting, with the Nexus 6P having less toning but with a higher resolve detail and a bit wider angle. Despite the Nexus 6P is lacking an OIS, it still managed to produce a decent video quality. The OnePlus 3 struggles during night shooting, however. Let us know in the comment and poll section which camera do you think did the better job in this test. It's in the chipset where OnePlus 3 takes the lead. Under the hood are a 6GB of RAM, 64GB of non-expandable storage, and a Snapdragon 820 quad-core chip. The lead in benchmark is twice compared to the Snapdragon 810 powered Nexus 6P. The difference is not that big in actual performance, however, but likely noticeable when playing graphics-intensive games in high settings. Nonetheless, the Nexus 6P is still a pretty capable hardware even though it was launched 9 months ago. The OnePlus 3's battery capacity is a step down from the 3300 mAh of OnePlus 2 to 3000 mAh. Battery life remains modest with 3.5 hours screen on time and full day use. This is similar case to the Nexus 6P and its 3450 mAh use, with roughly 3.5 hours screen on time in moderate use. The speaker on OnePlus 3 is a mono channel located at the bottom, while the Nexus 6P has front-facing stereo speakers. In terms of audio output, the speaker on OnePlus 3 is loud and solid, but it's not close to the power of the Nexus 6P. Now for the pricing, the OnePlus 3 with 6GB of RAM, 64GB storage retails for $399 or roughly 19,000 in the Philippines. Fortunately, the Nexus 6P is also priced around $400 to $500 for the 32GB model. As for the closing thoughts, both are beastly phones and are neck and neck in our review. The OnePlus 3's main advantage here is the extra power with its 6GB of RAM and newer chipset. Meanwhile, the Nexus 6P has a better camera, technically better screen, stereo speakers, and quite unique design. The decision will just matter in your preference. Let us know in the comments which phone is a better buy. As always, really appreciate the likes and don't forget to subscribe if you love this video. This is Jade, Mabuhay, Manila.